Hi.
I'm using my laptop for the first time for Zoom.
Oh,
That's where all the weird faces is.
do you feel different?
Oh, it's very different.
What are you usually on your iPad?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I need my notebook. Hang on. Hello, hello. Hmm. How are you guys feeling? Hmm.
Thumbs down.
Tell us,
Those.
tell us more.
Um,
What's the flavor?
Last night I had like a terror attack kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it. It happens like occasionally. And then this morning I've just been like super weepy.
Hmm. Here. Thank you.
Um, yeah, it's like a weird flavor of things.
Does it feel attached to things? You have stories with it or like loopy narratives? Just like, meh.
Yeah, not really. Like, so Jack's been away and he got back yesterday. And the past like week or so, I've had my hips have been really sore, which is often like it's like a psychosomatic thing, the dogs. And I almost feel like him coming home created like the safety for me to feel the things that had been there.
Hmm.
But then the narrative gets really squirrely of like, is what's going on here? Um, so yeah, it was weird. But last night it was like nice having Jack here because he was like really supportive of that, of me in that like state of terror that I don't know where it comes from.
Hmm.
And then yeah, just like super weepy this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Piper, how are you?
I don't know, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been just clicking away on the computer trying to get this silly little truck sticker done.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I am really overthinking this as I'm like, but there's some things still like, it's like, I guess, like on both, like, both sides of like, I could feel myself like pulling like out the process. And I can also, it's, it's like a procrastination kind of, but then there's also like pleasure in that process. So it's been kind of funny to like just watch it like happening as I'm clicking away. Like I feel like it looks the same as I started, but it also doesn't at all. And then I'm like, these are silly details. But
they're not silly at all also. So lots of both and um yeah, just enjoying like the weekend pocket. There's the crazy storm that they're like torrential downpours. It hasn't really been like that dramatic. It's just been like gray and like consistently drizzly, which I guess is dramatic for here, but it's nothing like what they said it would be, you know. So, but the sky is gray, and that is different. So
Mhm.
it's been kind of nice to like play storm and
Mhm.
just be mellow and at home and yeah, enjoying the desert rain smell.
Mm. Good, good. When you're working in computer, do you are you able to stay um, embodied and like in connection with what you're making, or is that hard?
Um, I think it depends on what it is. I think for the most part, I've been connect like staying connected to it. There's been a couple times when I felt it kind of like a disconnect, I guess. But then I like kind of like mm, it's usually like a lot of like undoing. Like actually no, that wasn't
Control
um
Z.
because yeah. What I did was I took just like the very like um bonesy drawing and just scanned that straight in. And so it gave me all of the anchor points everywhere.
Cool.
And so going and through and weeding out, and you know, some of them are very wonky. Um, but staying in line with that and not like the few times that I found myself going there and then like being like, oh, was when I was like trying to draw something in there that wasn't already drawn on the paper.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's all the stuff that was like, delete, undo that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
And there's like things that don't make sense about it, but like that's kind of also the point. And I am trying to remind myself that as well, that it's not supposed to make sense and it's not supposed to be the exact, it's not supposed to look exactly like the fucking picture. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a sloppy like drawing. So let's
Yeah.
not lose that feeling in the process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. That feels great. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's, yeah. I feel you. I feel like all
It's,
of the
it,
times.
yeah, it's like that. Like you're on the teeter, like if you're on the tightrope or whatever, you know, and you're like, what? And it's like either way, you know, would be fine. But it's not about, I think, either way. It's about like staying in that and not one side or the other.
Yeah. 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 Hello.
She looks like a painting.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay. How are you? What's going on?
Ah, is it my turn?
What?
It's my turn.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Surprise.
Your your
Great timing.
your connection is kind of choppy, but give it a shot.
Brilliant.
Um, I've been weepy this morning, yesterday evening, and a lot of stuff has come up for me. I feel better after lunch. I don't know where to start.
Start with what's present.
Don't really.
Weird.
I feel. Do you remember our call on the guys like, well, I know that I'm going in the right direction, and there's a symbol, it's a rainbow. I'm currently at an Airbnb, and there's a rainbow in my room.
Mm.
I'm at an Airbnb, this big house by myself. I feel a little like okay, start with what's present. Heart feels achy. I feel kind of stuck in like a corner. Supposed to go to Thailand with my uncles. And then I was prepping myself to go on this trip and just like at the ready, and I was ready to go. It out a yes, and um and then when I did, I had called my mom to I was going to the gym that morning, and I called my mom that I not go so I can, in case like I need information to book my flight. And she was like, no, didn't you get my text? Basically, plans kept changing. And she was just like, your uncle needs this because he needs you to work at my old job. And I'm a no. And I just felt like I wasn't being asked. I was being kind of put in a position because of the situation. And that's just been upsetting me. Yeah, I'm still just upset about it.
Yeah.
but like it's just a lot. It's just, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff for me. In the last couple of days.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to log out and come back in because you're like
Okay.
super choppy. And
I'm gonna move.
yeah, while you do that, get back into your feet.
Okay.
Okay. See you in a sec.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't know.
Oh,
How about now?
So much better.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually feel like more human too.
right. I was just gonna say she's a real person.
It was quite weird.
Yeah, it was very strange.
What's
Because I'm
happening?
like, Harley is
was
so
like-
clear and like I don't get it.
Yeah, that was a that was a wild transmission to like hear through the like the choppiness of of connection,
Yeah.
but also with your material and how you felt through that was really really wild to receive. Um, mm, ouch,
Okay.
ouch,
Yeah.
lots of ouch.
Um, and I'm really just letting myself feel it because I was also doing this like internal battle of like, am I just being a baby? Am I just pouting so hard right now? But I was like, no, I just let myself go there. I just let myself go there last night. And yeah, feel my feet, feel my feet. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I keep getting called into uh fire, like belly fire for you
yeah,
or with you.
yeah, that feels good.
Yeah.
On another note, I have this really big house to myself, and that's really cool. Just been yelling and talking really loud
Cool.
out loud.
Good. Good, good. Okay. That's great.
And I did some breath work this morning and just lots of yelling. But and it's I feel that it's deeper than this. Like it's in my heart and it's achy. Um and yeah, I mean I trust its timing. I also feel like my no is being challenged. I'm not sure. I don't want to get too into that. It feels more spirally than anything.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. Mm. The it's not murky and it's not wishy-washy, but the like not quite clear day or container that we're currently sitting in. um I'm gonna say it makes sense, like the the not quite clearness makes sense now that we're all together. I've been like all day today and last night been asking for clarity for this call, because of our transition from our pivot last week. Like what we were doing felt complete and also no longer true. So like, what are we doing now? Like, where are we going? What is our thing, you know? And even like the cards that I pulled this morning were like, the more you try to get clear about this, the less you're going to know. And every time I've tried to touch it today, I've like napped on it, I've meditated on it, and like everything is like, stop trying to know. And I still have a couple uh ideas in the like not knowing spot, of course. But as we're all gathered here, I'm like, oh, I understand. Like if I had come with a plan today, it would have been like, no, you're not doing that. Not doing that. Okay, we're gonna do a pretty short little um adjustment. Okay, we're gonna take, this is super simple, 10 really slow breaths together, longer exhales than inhales. And every time you're inhaling, I want you to intentionally inhale something beautiful, a beautiful place, a beautiful smell, a beautiful energy. And the beauty might even be like the tiniest bit. If that feels really far away, like the tiniest bit. And that's all for now. Karen, do you want to say anything before we do that? Okay. All right. Find your spine straight. You don't have to sit up straight. You can lay down straight. You can sit diagonally, but make your spine straight, if that makes sense. Stack your vertebrae on top of each other. Close your eyes if you want to. Keep them open if you want to. And just connect to something with life, something with life force energy, something with beauty inherent, a plant, poetry, the sunlight, earth, a song, an animal. I don't know. It might change with every breath, but connect right now with something where you can really feel this thing's life force. Let it stay the same. Let it shift through these 10 breaths. It doesn't matter. When you inhale, feel that life force filling you, reminding your own life force of how to move. And it might just be a little bit. That's okay. We're going to do these really slow, 10 really slow breaths. Invite the irritation into the room, irritation at fucking having to breathe 10 times slowly, if that's true. And on your exhales, I want you to let your shoulders go, let your belly go. And let whatever it is that you're carrying out. Heavy exhales through your mouth with sound. Gross, ugly, pretty, mad, irritated, whatever. Just let it fall. In energy, light, feel your light start to just twinkle, just the tiniest fucking bit. Even if that twinkle feels numb, it's okay. Just 5 more and choose. I don't know what you're choosing, but choose it. And on these last couple breaths, feel this spinal adjustment from your root, from the bottom of you, all the way up. Just this, like, almost like a braid of energy, or as if I were with you, my fingers would trace the shape of your spine and your vertebrae from the bottom up, and then it would go all the way up. And let this adjustment be full of a gradient, color gradient, a sparkle gradient, a, again, reminder of where your life force energy needs to go. All the way up. Maybe feel it a couple times, feel it fast, feel it slow, just this energy up and down your spine. Give me 2 more really intentional ins and outs. Bring light and color to the bottom of your head, to the base of your head, where your head meets your spine. And let it trickle back down your spine, down your throat, between your shoulder blades, back of your heart, back of your heart, back of your heart. That funky space between your heart, your belly, your womb, and the back, back, all the way back down. Back of the sacral, back of the root. Let those hips be wide. Anything else you want to bring into the room of you, bring it now. Invite it, ask for it, insist. Spaciousness, light, love, magic. Ask for it. Bring it. Whatever that thing is, one more really big breath. Just push that energy into the resources, the places like the back of your armpit, your armpits, but like the back, there's a soft spot on your back, the place where your butt meets your legs, backs of your knees. Run it all the way through. Crunchy spots in your jaw. Just finish with moving energy through our throats and tongues and mouth caverns and jaws. So I want you to find a wiggle in your jaw, up and down, side to side, maybe a vibration. Let your tongue be super heavy. And as you move your jaw, find a sound that wants to also move through. We get a lot here. Yeah. This one gets super activating and imagery and what you look like. Let it be stupid. Ah. If your teeth could come all the way out from your lips, what would that look like if you could get energy between your teeth and your gums? Uh-huh. Yeah. The back jaw. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, my loves. Anything else that needs to be addressed in your body, please address it now. Go to the places that are being asked to be with and be with them. Take your time. When you're ready, we'll come back together and just see where we are. I'm gonna do some reading today in a minute. And when we read, I think I'd like to just invite you to use it almost like a journey, just like really listening with your body and your energy and noticing what pops and what rings. But before we do that, I'm gonna come back in fully together and ask what's here now, what's true now.
My body wants to move.
Wants to move. Awesome. Keep moving.
I need water.
Hey, you.
Just a weep at this point.
Just a weep.
A small bag of wheat.
Just a small bag of weep.
Like a
In
little
my
pink
little pocket.
like making more space for it, more is coming.
Yeah. Well, I am super happy and grateful, really, just to let you be the weep. And if you like, I don't want to keep asking you, but I want to, when you need something, will you please ask for it?
Yeah. I think the thing that I find challenging, that is like a recurring theme, is that I can't like link it with anything grounded in what's happening. It's just like arising in my body.
And that feels like irreconcilable.
Yeah, it's like confusing.
Yeah. What would you do if you did know?
I would just let it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you fight it? Okay. Well, for the next, even if just for the next 50 minutes, you cannot fight it. The, the cards that I pulled this morning, you guys, can't, I don't know. I don't have words here. I don't yet know what this is sharing with us, what is like, what is forming. I can feel it and I can feel the tapestry of it, but I don't know. And that's what we're doing today is weaving. Weaving. I don't know. So I want to share the the very first card that I pulled today. The deck that came out today was the alchemy deck. And that's fairly rare for me. That doesn't always happen. Um, but it had lots of things to tell me. Like lots of cards came out for lots of different things. But the very first card that came out um, is Ouroboros. Piper, I feel like you should see this because this looks a lot like yours. Like when you popped your shit into our group, I was like, no fucking kidding. And and then I was called to pull. I don't even think it came from that card, but another pull led me to, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. on my phone. This woman with a snake. Yeah.
Titties.
So yeah, like already even just our imagery is like holy fucking crossover. Crazy. Piper, I want to honor your dragon and your dragon's legs. I understand it's not a snake, and I really see you there.
I heard a story recently in a podcast about like the snake. I can't remember exactly what it was, like what the snake did, or it was like a taking of its power, and that was like the the dragon, and then it got its legs removed, and that's how we have the snake, and that's why it has to like slither on its belly because it's like embarrassing or whatever. So I think it's just alluding to that, like that she's still powerful.
I got my snake last night, and then this morning when you guys all put snakes, and I was like, I'm not gonna say that mine is just choose something different.
Well, I had a similar. It was like the egg, the circle with the dot thing, the egg creation egg, and I'm like, no more. And then I was like, well, you did see. I went to the thrift store with my mom, a bunch of them yesterday, and one of them had on the counter, like all these like weird like ceramic or like glass eggs with like different pictures of like big ones like lined up, and then there was like a basket of like random like smaller ones, and I was like, none of them were cool enough to like want one, but and then I was like, no, like that's like Karen's thing is the egg, I don't want it.
Do
And
you
so
know?
he's like, oh okay fine, like that's when like the Ouroboros kind of, it was like, like let's
Egg.
give it a different, it's the same fucking thing, stupid, but like we'll give it a different shape if you must.
And do you know the like the mundane eggs, the world eggs, they're often drawn with wings, like dragons.
Yeah.
A bit of symbolic one-upmanship with pie. It really brings me back to good spirits. The souls. That's all I need. Please try and out symbol me.
Out symbol me.
Exhibit A.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, me too, me too. Because I also resisted my snake when it came. But I was like, oh, it's just because I saw a rattlesnake the other day when I went hiking. And this drum track, it kept rattling, and I was like, okay, it's a rattlesnake. Okay. That snake was so cool. To me, serpents like high protection, deep protection. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that those words for this call and where we are actually our magic words. I don't know. You know, all the you know, um, all the places where our brains love to make the meanings. Let's just let them be loose. I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of making meaning, the 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 most hitting message that I received from Ouroboros this morning, um, too, actually, is that the alchemist is always turning back in on ourselves, themselves. rather than the projection out. And that just felt like a boop on the nose for me as my like outward, like they don't get it. Like those stories have been so loud for me. That was a like, yeah, excuse me. Um, and you know, very, very fundamental in the work that we do. And as within, so without, you know. And the other part was that you can put anything into the the great snake's mouth and it will transform into something different. And that just felt really cool. Yeah.
The snake with the elephant, the little prince.
Say that again.
Snake with the snake who ate the elephant and the little prince.
Okay. So the two cards specifically that I pulled, the Ouroboros I pulled for myself, that just like started my process, and I was like, what do I need to know? But the two cards that I pulled for us, like show me the direction for hell. What do I need to know? Like what are we changing into? Um, and I got the new pearl and sap of the moon plant. And I'm going to read them with our page 73s. And this is the invitation to just drop into your body and like listen. Listen, journey. I don't really know. But like listen with your body and listen for what speaks. You are welcome to close your eyes if you want to. Always, you don't have to. We'll start with sap of the moon plant. Nocturnal, sacred water of the unconscious. Sap of the moon plant, Succus lunaria, is an ancient substance said to be born of water, plant, and moonlight. This elixir develops in the depth of night and is thus a metaphor for the wellspring of the unconscious. When this alchemical magic is afoot, it's all about dreams. The answer you are seeking will not come from the intellect nor the opinion of others. It will surface from the depths as if rising from the ancient waters of your memory. The work is to rest, restore, and awaken your celestial senses. Do this by pausing, by releasing your grip. The sap of the moon plant signifies you are in the deep territory of destiny in the imagination. This is a mythic moment. The dream is waiting to show itself, but awaits your sincere invitation. Ask and rest. All will be revealed. The new pearl. Grit, irritation, waiting. The new pearl is one of the great promises of alchemy. From a single grain of sand, the pearl forms slowly but surely in the salty mouth of the oyster. The new pearl emerges as an alchemical miracle, a sight unimaginable at the outset. That said, the process is generated from irritation itself. Such is the medicine of the new pearl. The work is underway, but the gem has not yet formed. Don't become petty and hasty. seeking a return on your efforts. Rather, turn to patience, consistency, and humility to remedy the discomfort. Let the magic of time and salt water do its work. Relax, believe, and support a fellow alchemist in finding the grit that will become their pearl. Don't worry about you right now. The entire ocean is your ally. Reading to her from a storybook, the two were smiling happily at each other, oblivious of the camera. "Hi, Daddy," she whispered softly to the photo before placing it against the headstone. Maureen lingered for a moment, eyes closed, lost in her attempt to recall her father in any kind of detail. Outside of this photograph, she had very little to prompt memories of him. After his death, her mother had forbidden any discussion of the man or his role in their lives. He simply ceased to exist for them, as did his family. Maureen and her mother had moved to Ireland very soon after that. Her past in Louisiana was relegated to the dim memories of a traumatized and grieving child. Earlier that morning, Maureen had thumbed through a New Orleans phone book looking for residents named Pascal. There were a number of them, some that may have been familiar, but she had closed the book quickly, never really intending to make any contact with potential relatives, not after all this time, and certainly not now. It had been more of an exercise in remembering. Maureen touched the photograph in farewell, then wiped the tears away with a muddy hand that smeared grime across her face. She didn't care. She rose and retraced her steps without looking back, stopping outside the main entrance gates. Inside the cemetery proper, a pristine white chapel crowned with a polished brass cross gleamed in the southern sunshine. Maureen stared at the church through the bars, an outsider looking in. She shielded her eyes from the glare of the light shining from the brass cross, then turned her back on the church and walked away. Vatican City, Rome, June 2005. Thomas Cardinal de Caro stood up from his desk and looked out the window onto the piazza. His aging eyes weren't the only thing that assumption might be made that the treaties with foreign nations may be equally ignored. In fact, since the relationship of the states to the Congress is also included in that clause, the elimination of any one of the parties may result in a process of legislative erosion, by which the position of the states themselves might be in jeopardy. This insistence on the recognition of their nationhood has been viewed as evidence of either Indians' contrariness or, at worst, their desire to be entirely separated from the United States as a whole. It is neither. If some common belief of all the tribes were to be sought, it would possibly be that all shared a conviction that at creation they were ordained to a special task. The Great Spirit placed them here, told them what to do and how to do it. They were to live in harmony with the earth and with the laws he gave them, taking only such of his bountiful gifts as were necessary to sustain them and thus preserve on the earth the material and spiritual perfection in which it was created. Such a conviction is, of course, difficult to translate into the legal language of legislation, and it is sometimes infuriating to resource developers. Indians can do little at this time to preserve the perfection of the country as a whole. They still have the obligation to fulfill this stewardship over their own small corner of it. The preservation of Indians' national identity is the framework in which they can move on to complete this obligation. Without it, as an individual, the Indian is overwhelmed by a society with a totally different concept. The lonely sentinel, the Indian is bowed in sorrow before the Creator. Well, it's exactly the same with your mind. One of the greatest of Tibet's many women masters, Makchik Lapdran, said, "Alert, alert, yet relax, relax. This is a crucial point for the view in meditation. Alert your alertness, but at the same time be relaxed. So relaxed, in fact, that you don't even hold onto an idea of relaxation. thoughts and emotions, the waves and the ocean. When people begin to meditate, they often say that their thoughts are running riot and have become wilder than ever before. But I reassure them and say that this is a good sign. Far from meaning that your thoughts have become wilder, it shows that you have become quieter and you are finally aware of just how noisy your thoughts have been. Don't be disheartened or give up. Whatever arises, just keep being present, keep returning to the breath, even in the midst of all the confusion. In the ancient meditation instructions, it is said that at the beginning, thoughts will arrive one on top of another, uninterrupted like a steep mountain waterfall. Gradually, as you perfect meditation, thoughts become like the water in a deep, narrow gorge, then a great river slowly winding its way down to the sea, and finally the mind becomes like a still, placid ocean, ruffled by only the occasional ripple or wave. Sometimes people think that when they meditate, there should be no thoughts and emotions at all. And when thoughts and emotions do arise, they become annoyed and exasperated and with themselves and think they have failed. Nothing could be further than the truth. There is a Tibetan saying, it's a tall order to ask for meat without bones and tea without leaves. So as long as you have a mind, there will be thoughts and emotions. I found a room of voices. It was a cave of small containers, urns, glass bottles, rusted coffee cans, old alembics. Each contained a voice which emerged in a line of white smoke and spoke in midair when I entered the cave. The air was voices entangled, a snarl, a blur of white smoke. They seemed to be voices of direction to action or even to emotion. Eat some meat. You can cry now. The pain is overwhelming. If you make love, you will find it in 2 days. You will find it. Go to sleep. Sing a funny song. Find something you can worship. Cross the room. Lie down. Kill the tyrant. Cross the river. Phrases were repeated, almost sung, chorus-like. I stood still in their midst while they noised all around me. There was a larger container sunk into the ground, like a well. It was a black urn, and its voice arose in a grayer smoke. It spoke in a rich female whisper. Don't guard your footsteps. Don't guard your footsteps. Don't guard your footsteps. I will protect you. I always do. Don't protect yourself. I will protect you. While you pay me no mind, there were gold sparks in the gray smoke. I tried to catch one like an insect between my thumb and middle finger, but it instantly became invisible. Whose voices are you? I asked them all. Voices of whoever's here. Voices here. You are the mind of our voices. What else would you like us to say? Tell us the next thing to say, I said. I want you to say, whatever is frozen will now melt. It will melt. It will melt now. Will melt. They began to chorus. Whatever's frozen will now melt. I slipped out of the room. So before we come back together, I just want you to take note of what chose to join us today in form of language and words, energies. Take note of what popped out for you, what arose, what you make them mean, what you don't know. We're simply following the sparks. So take a minute reaching back in your body, mind, to the different things I just read, and make concrete the ones that feel the most concrete. And make concrete the ones that feel not concrete, but that want to be here. It might help to write them down, or we'll just speak them all and I'll write them down.
What just showed up?
Say it again.
I can't. So guess what just showed up?
What?
The storm. Like
Same.
right like before we come back, the little rain started. And I was like, oh, interesting. And then like you got further into that, and then like all of a sudden it just got like crazy windy.
The darkness.
And it's 333 here.
What did you
Wonderful.
say, Piper? What did you say?
333, the time.
What popped out at you guys?
Don't protect yourself. I will protect you.
As long as you have a mind, there will be thoughts and emotions. The creator and the gravestone.
Father.
And then I was also like in a different, I was like in a half. Did you ever meditate or like do journeys and you feel like, even though like you're laying on flat ground, your body is like at an angle, like it, and my, for me that feels like I'm like in two different like planes at once. So that was happening when you were reading the last page, and it was a lot of stuff was happening, but also like it was like kind of like a blackout thing where like I don't remember any of it.
Yeah. Karen, how about you?
I just felt like the shape of like the inside of a cave and like spaciousness and safety and like a wide dark space. And there was something happening with like the like the cut up quality of having all of our pages um that kind of like mirrors the somatic experience when I have these like intense emotional episode, whatever. Which is like kind of like that being in multiple places at once, kind of a similar feeling. And I also had a feeling of like emptying out and like making space. Yeah, that was kind of at the start. It was like the spaciousness. Um, and I was also struck by like the clear tone of your voice, like a bell.
Like a bell.
Yeah.
What struck me earlier, before our call, and I can see, in a like laying of the breadcrumbs kind of way, uh, the way, like the go this way kind of breadcrumbs that we're playing with, that we've chosen into with our symbols and our dreams and our page 73s. Um, before this call, I was like, again, I was like, I was really asking for direction. Like, what the fuck are we doing today? And it's like, you're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know. I'm like, okay. But as I was inquiring about hell, about the underworld, and the choices to go down, to be in relationship with layers of consciousness, um, the almost like the most obvious direction is, it's not like a pivot, like not all of a sudden we're doing something else and like our intentions or like shape of container has changed. But it was like very simple, like, well, you guys have gone down and now it's time to come back up. It's the ascent. And I don't know what that means entirely. But I do feel that like the depths, when we descend down, the depths are, my hand does not go very low in the screen. I want to go like all the way to the floor, but I'm like, the depths.
The upper mid depth.
The depths now, for us, for the four of us, are fairly familiar territory. You know, I would never say that they're easy, um, but it's a place with many other places, many rooms, or however the fuck they show up, that all of us have navigated. Like, all right, this is the down, this is the void, this is like that's a wild subconscious creature, or like it's not new, you know? But I feel like the place that we are now is a new place. And that's the like, that's why I was doing that with my hand. When we go like, this is all consciousness, and then we go down and we're like, oh, okay, like this is the river of the underworld, and like this is where the chapel is in my underworld, and like this is all familiar territory, even though it's like underworld subconscious stuff. And then like the road to come back up is I don't know. I'm almost getting like blind mole feeling, you know? Did you roll your eyes?
Sorry.
And as it came out of my mouth, because I didn't know I was going to say that, I'm like, and of course, Piper brought the mole.
And I think I was just rolling my eyes at like, really? I still have to be blind?
But we have stuff. We got
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking clues. And they're
Yeah.
not always clear. They're not like, it's like when you're driving down the highway and you see the highway number and it's like 17 and you're like, cool. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I felt it, but like, okay, it feels very similar to that, where they're all like, yeah, sap of the moon. Cool.
Yeah, I roll. Ugh. Yeah.
From an energetic perspective, it feels next level, actually.
Well, I would like to say I would like to say a few words,
Go on.
if I may. This like physical pain followed by intense emotional low is like what happens before next level. However, I would like to say that I would like in that whole thing, I also the bit that you were talking about, everyone's like playing their role. I had this like vision of like the weeping woman, and that's like the role. And she just like weeps and weeps and weeps and weeps and weeps and like is in that saltwater ocean thing.
I love
But I
that.
just felt like compelled to express that. And I'll probably start crying again. But like I would like for this next level to not involve like intense physical pain and and like that like intense panic that happens. Like, would it be possible to have less symptomology, for want of a better word? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. What would you like instead? What do you want more of?
Just like I would like to skip the body ache, and I would like to like let go of the weeping woman role.
Mhm. Okay, so if you skip the body ache, and you let go of the weeping woman role, what
Yeah.
do you have then? What do you
Um,
have?
I feel like it's like outside of the victim hero template. It's like a new shape. It's almost like amorphous.
Yeah, I don't think that you can just drop a big ass bomb like that and stop talking. Like, keep going. Like, what is the shape outside of the triangle?
Well, it's amorphous.
Please save the world.
What does amorphous mean? I don't know what that means.
This,
It's an egg,
like an egg.
egg shaped.
I would like to be an egg.
It's an egg.
But I mean,
Eggs.
I think it's like it always it comes back to like relation. It's like we have all these experiences and we relate to them. And in my experience, it's like it's the internal things that really trip me up way more than the external. But it's like the trying to place the internal events to an external event that creates this like looping.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
But
that
huh?
the page that she read about meditating. She said, what did she say about the things? The examples that she used, and then she said, so if you have a brain, then you're gonna have thoughts and emotions. It's kind of
Well, yeah, that was my next. Yeah, I was gonna say that next. It's like, who me trying to like not be human again? I would never. So it's like, I'm probably gonna weep again in my life and not know why. So
where'd you go on your walk today?
I went up the hill and through the forest.
Hmm.
In the forest, I pretended to be a tree. I just like stood there and felt what it would be like to be a tree.
So good.
And the ocean looked fake.
Mad about that. Pissed. How dare the ocean be beautiful?
I know.
You
The
killed my.
audacity.
The absolute audacity. It was like, this is the most beautiful colors of blue. Oh, and there was like clouds with a hole in the middle, like right in the middle of the clouds. Like a like eye of the storm shit. So another horrible day being human.
No wonder you're crying.
I know.
You're
Well, I think that a lot of the crying does come from just like being overwhelmed with like the ache and like the beauty and just like
Well,
why is it so difficult to just love stuff sometimes?
boy, I was crying on Friday. Like that's it.
Yeah,
It's so fucking beautiful. It hurts.
it hurts. And like I think it's hard like I think that I like inflict quite a lot of pain trying to attribute that pain to other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Like both for myself and it's like that what was that phrase about like the alchemist turns inward? It's like really just that. And that can be really like hard and exhausting sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
It's like I really want it to be about something outside of me sometimes.
I know, right? Yeah.
But that actually like push and I think there's something in here about like receptivity of love and also like adult relate like partnership relationship and that like pulling out of the experience or like trying to make it about the other person or make it about something that's happening it like it it, it, push it makes me feel like further away from people. but it's like the drive of that is, it's like I feel a way and it hurts, and then it's like the shape is like, but it's actually beneath that is like it's like an urge towards being closer to other people. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Gotcha.
You're just processing it.
Yeah, you had mentioned this last week too.
Really?
Uh-huh. Um, the difficulty of, I want to say exhaustion, but I don't know if that's your word or not. Of like the connection, if I'm, or like making it mean the energetic thing, like if I'm feeling this way, then it's something over here or in here, or you had mentioned something like that last week too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I only say that because it was telling me to say that. It was like she should know that she said that last week. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I think that all that, like, I think I sometimes tangle myself because I don't want to say things so that I'm like creating that in myself. So like, what am I trying to say? All that like sadness was present a week ago, but it was like I guess like pressed below consciousness. But like my current model of growth involves that like pain cycle. And I think like our entire collective current model of transformation involves that. It's like all the templates, it's like in all the mythologies and everything, that it's that you go through, that pain is like the catalyst.
Mm.
So I have this like curiosity, is like kind of what I was trying to say before, that like, well, would it be possible, like, are there other ways?
Yeah. Different templates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like I can see like this kind of cycle of like, I can see, are you guys all good for me to just keep talking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like I can see how it's like really, how I really, when I'm like in that, it's like real fear, how painful that is when I like make that about Jack.
Yeah.
Um um and I just have this hunch that like even in I guess like, I want to say like the coaching world or whatever it is, like spiritual, I feel like even our new templates are like not it.
I know.
And I feel like the ache of like, well, I know like we're all doing our best, but what do we have? Like even in literature and film and music, like what do we have that can guide us, that can show us like what it actually looks like to be in like healthy relationship to self and healthy relationship to other people? Like I sort of feel like there's no adults around. And even like and just like not being in a state of distortion about like what it is to be in life, like really, really in it. And I just don't understand why like everyone doesn't weep this much. Like it is heartbreaking. Thank you. Thanks for going to my TED talk.
Mhm. Well, these are my dreams. I feel you in the like even the oh, there's so many things I want to say right now. Even the new templates are still templated from old templates. And they're like better and everyone's doing their best. But I feel the truth in that. I know that. Like my bones know that. And that's I mean that's like my attempt at that is gospel, you know? Is like I don't fucking know, but I'd like to fucking try to find out with some dope people. That's the intention. Um I watched a movie last night and I don't remember what it was called, but it like keeps coming up to share with you guys. It was with Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman, where she gets like 100% brain power. You guys seen this?
Oh, is it Ghost in the Shell?
No.
I haven't seen that.
Anyway, it was totally a mediocre movie, like a 60. It was fine. But
I enjoyed the concept, but it was super mediocre.
did you see it?
Yeah.
Well, I think what I keep coming back to on this call is like the more brain power she gets, the more she becomes everything, like everything around her, and there's like no delineation really between one thing and everything else, but also the more that she knows that, the less human she gets.
Libby sent me a reel this morning that basically said the same thing.
Big deal. So but that I think also like what that invites me into is like when we um not necessarily that we're like moving towards fucking more I don't know how to utilize more brain power. Like that sounds awesome, but I don't know how that happens. You know, that's not really what I'm saying. But from that investigation, how much easier it is to slip out of like the pain track and into like something else, to like explore different templates when you're not so stuck in one. Or like when you're, you know, when you're not stuck to your story, then you can explore what it would be like to be in other stories or other perspectives or other orientations or relationships. um yeah.
Yeah.
And the other, like the last thing that you said, I'm like, this is also my dream. Like my dream and like fundamentally why I do what I do is that I hope for people, like all people, to be so fucking honest and clear within themselves that they do weep all the time. Like I want your shit to be so fucking beautiful that everybody's crying all the time.
Wow. Can or can't recommend.
But can it like be weepy but not painful? Like it's just because I guess for me, when I feel that beauty, it doesn't quite feel achy. It just feels like I'm extremely moved. And it's, yeah, it feels, I don't know, just like I'm opening or
That was from last week's Hell. I think only Violet saw it last week.
oh yeah. Yeah.
We were both looking down when I shared it last week. And this time Violet was looking down.
Yeah. I think like maybe there's a clue for me in the weepy, because like that is like a signature of my entire experience in this lifetime, is like this like sadness that is over here. And that feeling of like, well, can like why can are you guys not seeing this? Like, do you not see the color of the ocean? What the fuck? But I feel like there's also, it's like there's a new layer of um it's like disappointment in music, film, books, like the
Culture?
I don't know if that's the word that I want to use, but yeah, I guess so.
Heavy on the cult?
Yeah, like it's almost like the instruments of, it's like if culture is an orchestra, I feel like everyone's playing shitty instruments.
Well, it's almost too like Hollywood has like an agenda, right? And there are like true artists, you know, who try to do their own thing and share their messages, but a lot of the stuff that we're fed is not supposed to delight and nourish the human spirit, you know?
Yeah. but I guess I'm just having like a realization of how that, well, I guess I already know this in different ways, but like there's kind of, we can think of like our collective like if we're like concentric circles, we can kind of, like, I can work on my little concentric, my tiny little circle here, and it can go boom 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 boom, like we're, we're like a circle too. But the top down stuff also needs to get, like, the big circles also need to get a bit clear.
I feel like we need to refer back to page 73. Indians can do little at this time to preserve the perfection of the country as a whole. They still have the obligation to fulfill this stewardship over their own small corner of it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I Carly, when you said I would at least like to try, and that is through gospel with like Karen, when you I also feel that that feeling of the new templates aren't it. But that's I guess similarly the feeling of I have to at least let myself try and not sit and wait on it. And something that came up for me, it was this morning and also at the end of the journey, is that there's this part of me that's, so I was going through this whole like drama spiral of what's happening, but there's this other part of me that wants to be savage about it. And that's kind of scary. Because I went to this breathwork thing yesterday. I was at the beach and all these people were sharing, and I was just like, I'm not that interested. And I was trying to open and I just couldn't. But I didn't feel like I wasn't open. I just felt like I didn't have the space for it. And I just wanted to stare at the ocean, and there were dolphins. I didn't really know how to navigate that, actually. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
Sometimes it's just not true to open or share.
Yeah.
And I don't like when I say this, I'm aware of I don't know if it's a hierarchy. That's not totally what it feels like, but this like separation of like, look at us over here doing our work and them over there. But I think actually there's something to it, you know, when you have cultivated spaces, this one included, where you've made safe space and relationships within which you can show up and be like, this is on my heart, see it, witness me in it. And so it becomes like a lot of people don't have that, you know. And so if you put them in a breathwork circle and everyone's asked to share something on their heart, like people are so fucking desperate to be seen,
Yeah.
to share what's true, that you just like can't share on the streets, you know.
Yeah.
But you have that.
Yeah. But and
It's
as
like,
you're saying that, I feel that with like family stuff as well. It's like that similar thing when I think about, I guess, the the spaces and relationships that have been cultivated. So then how do you navigate in the new in this? And is it I'm just no longer partake, like I'm just a no?
I think you know the answer to that, Violet.
I
So
do.
is it, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you kind of, um, is there like kind of conflict between who you know yourself to be in context with us and then in context with your family?
Yeah. That's the question. Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's also just like situationally.
I wonder if also, I guess this is like, I'm getting a little bit metaphysical, but like, I feel like we I feel like we continually, like as beings or whatever, we like choose into situations that will give us like a new texture. I don't know, this is just like helping me reconcile my own last 24 hours somehow. It's just like, oh well, like this is what I guess like I'm thinking in just in like partnership with my partner that like I want a relationship that is in the full spectrum of that holds all of me. So for that, like I have to be willing to have the full spectrum of experience in that relationship.
Mm.
And I don't know, I think it's really interesting as well, like culturally, the like the popular template currently is not having like one partner for a really long time. Like that's kind of like old school or whatever. But that's kind of irrelevant because like I'm just choosing that I will bring all of myself to this. And I feel like the fractal mirror in Violet land, it's like it's that bringing of the whole self to the situation, and that it can be really it's frightening because it's like putting tension on familial bonds that have like been there and have been running a certain way. But it's like, well, something that I've been kind of like returning to maybe the past month or something is just like, well, what am I devoted to? What am I actually like? When I was little, we used to have like lantern festivals where you like carry your lantern at night and in the middle of winter using a little lantern song. So it's just like, what's in your lantern really? And that's like, can we let it be that simple? Can we let it just be all this story, blah blah blah, all of this stuff doesn't actually matter. I walk with my lantern. My lantern walks with me.
I love that. I have to go, guys. Do you want me to pass the mic off so you guys can keep keeping on? Or should I just do that and let you see what happens?
Or we just got I feel like I interrupted you, Violet. Sorry.
But I have
No.
to go. So I
You.
love you. Catch me up.
Love you. Thank you.